What's going on, everybody? So the Jaguars played their annual London game, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time kickoff, and the Jaguars lose to the Texans, 26-3. And this what an incredibly disappointing game. It really was. I mean, all credit for this game goes to the Houston Texans. They outplayed us in every single way, whether it be on offense, defense, coaching, maybe a sprinkle of the refs in there. I mean, they had everything going their way, and the Jaguars we couldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't do anything, and their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, is a complete cheat code. I mean, this guy is a new prototype for a quarterback. Just how incredibly accurate he is. His escapability when it comes to pressure, and I mean, this guy was completing passes as he was being sacked. I mean, whether it be that weird little dump off he had to Carlos Hyde, whether it be that one ball he had to I forget who it was, maybe like Duke Johnson or something, where he was literally, as he was going to the ground, he completed a pass. And I mean, it's just, and the Jags this game, they just played horrible. I mean, really, I think where it started was really just the offensive play calling, and I'm actually not one that goes out and calls the offense coordinator all after every game, be like, oh, this is on you, this is your fault, how could you not do this, that, because I actually thought his play calling like throughout the season it's been pretty decent, and oftentimes you don't you recognize an offense coordinator for bad games they call, but not the good games they call. But man, it was just, I mean, like going from the beginning of the game, I was like, we need to spread this team out. Like we need to spread them out and set up the run with the pass. And then we'd go out there. Look at the first half. We were going out there with three tight ends in the game. A fullback and just running it up the gut. It's like everyone knows what's going to happen. I mean, our offensive line has been built to run the ball, and our offensive line can't get any push. It's sad as hell, man. It's horrible. I mean, and the times where we were spraying the ball out and we were running out of shotgun, it was just doing a lot better. But I mean, Leonard Fournette was really no impact this game. He had 11 rush attempts for 40 yards. I mean, they were never really able to sustain drives and let him carry the ball on the ground just because we were just doing so bad. I mean, the whole game was just bad from start to finish. I mean, oddly enough, the score was only 9-3 at the end of the during halftime. But I mean, yeah, I mean, just the play calling was horrible. Like we weren't throwing anything downfield. Everything was like, these throws to the flats or out routes or stuff like that. Like we never really tested them in the middle of the field. It was just everything was thrown to the flats, and we were trying to do these weird little misdirections, and it just wasn't working. And I just hate how we keep getting, bringing these three tight ends in here that were all super jumbled up. All that does is bring more people into the box, and it limits the field, and it limits different, whether you want to run it or do anything. It just it just brings them together, and how injured the Texans were going into this game. I mean, they had like three defensive backs out. J.J. Watt just got put on the IR. Yeah, I mean, their defense was so banged up, but it didn't look like it. We weren't even trying to test their secondary. I mean, what the hell? And then, I mean, Gardner Minshew this game. I mean, Gardner Minshew was really like playing for the opportunity to start after the bye week. But I mean, he threw up his worst performance of the year. I mean, he went 27 for 47, 309 yards, two interceptions and one fumble. I mean, toward the end of the game, I think he turned the ball over on 3 out of 4 plays. And I mean, I was at a point where I was like, look, just take him off of the field, because all you're doing, you're only like hurting him when you're playing him at this point. But Minshew Mania was fun while it lasted. I mean, he did decent for us. I mean, he was 4-4. I mean, and actually, he was actually really good for us. I mean, during the good games, he really did well. But I mean, I really thought the play calling was setting himself up for a horrible position. Especially in the first half, I thought there were chances where we could have gone up on these guys, but it never got that opportunity. And really, for the first time, Gardner Minshew actually looked like a rookie with just some of his overthrows and whatnot. I mean, it wasn't a good game for him, man. He just wasn't all that accurate. I mean, even some of the completions that he had, it was just, made some miraculous catches, whether it be DJ Chark or Keelan Cole or whoever. I mean, Keelan Cole actually had a good game, 80 yards receiving for him. It's probably his best game since his rookie year, so all that's fine. But I mean, the Jags, they blew an opportunity, man. I mean, we could have, if we won this game, we could have been 5-4 right before the bye, 2-1 in the division, um, and we would have been locked into that sixth wild card spot. Now, I mean, if we want any shot at the playoffs, I mean, I would think we'd have to go 6-1 throughout the stretch. I mean, Houston Texans and the Colts are pretty much a lock to get into the playoffs, in my opinion. And then the Bills, when you look at the Bills, I mean, they just have such an easy schedule. I mean, a quarter of their games are against Miami and Buffalo, and the Jets, and they also play the NFC East. They play the AFC North. I mean, it's so incredibly easy for them. So, and even so, if the Jaguars are to make the playoffs, it's not like they're going to do any damage. I mean, I don't think any team's getting past the Patriots, but I mean, this game we blew it. We really blew it, and we looked sorry. It was embarrassing. I mean, the Jaguars haven't had a Sunday night game or a Monday night game in over a decade, so this is really our 9:30 a.m. is our primetime games every year, and we just look stupid in front of everybody. And I mean, it just shows that. I mean, and Houston Texans fans are always complaining about Bill O'Brien and stuff, but I mean, Bill O'Brien called such a good game. I mean, just they played such a balanced attack. They were running the ball at good moments. They were doing really good RPO type plays. They were throwing it to the tight end well off of the RPOs. They were going deep when they needed to. I mean, they called a flawless game. I mean, they kept setting themselves up for third and short situations, and they kept converting. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was horrible. I mean, it was just absolutely horrible on the Jaguars' end. There was nothing we really did well. I mean, what did we do well? I can't think of anything. I mean, I think Ronnie Harrison played pretty well. I thought, Keelan Cole had a good game, but other than that, our offensive line are decent in pass protection. And one thing about Gardner Minshew, another thing about him was once again he was getting happy feet. I mean, he left the pocket too early. He was scrambling around too early when there was still a clean pocket. I didn't think he was doing well enough in his progressions, and obviously he was inaccurate. I mean, he was playing against what looked to be like a cover two, and he just it fooled him. I mean, it mixed them all up, and he couldn't do anything. So, Jaguars now they're sitting at 4-5, 1-2 in the division, and I mean it's looking like Nick Foles is going to be the starter after the bye week, and we'll see what we can get out of him. But it was just atrocious. What a miserable game. Jaguars lose 26-3. Deshaun Watson is a beast. I mean, Carlos Hyde. What did Carlos Hyde do this game? Carlos Hyde had 160 yards rushing. I mean, Carlos Hyde probably had more rushing yards this game than he had against the Jaguars the whole entire time he was on this team. Most confusing thing ever, but whatever. Jaguars lose. Back to UCF Sadwar. And yeah. I mean, it would have been so much fun winning this thing and being able to talk during a bye week about, is Minshew Foles going to start? Look at us. We're in the playoff picture right there. But, I mean, it doesn't look good anymore, guys. So, thank you guys for watching. Go Jags. I'm out.